Hello, welcome today. In a relationship today, I want to talk about loving and liking, or really loving and not liking. I think that we can fall in love with people and we really love them, and hopefully we love them unconditionally. Some of us love conditionally, though. However, as we get to know them, I think we can start not liking some of the things about them very much. We retain the love, we still love them because hopefully we love them unconditionally. I just wanted you to understand that this is really normal, that when you first meet them, you're seeing all their good points, and maybe we're not showing all of ourselves to the person when we first meet, I don't know. But as we get to know each other and go down the layers, get to know them more and more, there'll be things we find out about them that we don't particularly like. And I'm just doing this podcast to get you to understand it's really, really normal, and you just have to find a way to get around it because you love that person. It seems strange that you would love somebody, and at times, and sometimes when there's really problems in the marriage, at a lot of times, you do not like them. And people just think if you love someone, you like them, but that's not always true. You can love somebody and not like some parts of them, just like they can love you and not like some parts of you. The way around the not liking them is to, first of all, accept it. You don't maybe like how they treat their mum, or you don't really like how they are moody, or you don't really like that, you think they're a bit selfish sometimes, or perhaps you don't really like how they eat their food, or they don't really like how they dress. I mean, there can be just so many of them because we're all individuals and we do things all differently, and we've come from different environments where we're taught how to do things differently as well. The first thing is to think to yourself how much you don't like it. Is it really irritating you? Is it really annoying you? Or is it something you can just tolerate and let it go? Because some of these things are just small things that they do. And if we start picking on people for everything, we'll actually destroy the relationship. We can pick it to death, really. That's the first thing. If you find, however, that something you don't like about them is actually impacting upon you and your relationship too much, I think you need to discuss it. Because a lot of these things that people do are things that are just habits. They're just habits we do. They're learned behaviour. And I believe that if you learn a behaviour, you can unlearn it or delete it from your list and not do it anymore. It's going to take a bit of time to delete it from the list. It keeps coming back, but at least you recognise it, then you try to get rid of it. Talk to your partner about it and make it a very mutual conversation that you say, I don't talk about these things I don't like that maybe you could change because they're really irritating me and I think it's affecting the relationship. And then I want you to tell me the things that I do that you don't like that I could change. It's looking at it more from how we can compromise and make it change. It's normal to feel this way, but it can get to the point that after a while you don't see the things you love about them and you do like, and you just end up focusing on all the things you don't like. And this is what starts to make the demise of the relationship. Because we're in real relationships, it's not like on TV at the end they all kiss and then we never see what happens for the next 10 years when they're screaming and yelling and, the kids and the dogs peed on the carpet, but it's not your dog, it's their dog. And talk to your partner, and you could even write a little list of things that you don't like if you find they're getting in the way of the relationship. Sometimes we can just ask people, can you please not lick your spoon like that? I don't know what the things are. They're always, some of them are just really crazy, stupid things, but they tend to mess things up. Or if they're really big things, I really am uncomfortable with the way you speak to your mum. Could you please maybe speak more kindly to her? Or I don't like the way you are disciplining the children. I don't agree with it, and we need to find a better way of doing this. There's lots of ways to go about it. It's about talking about the problem that's in the middle, the dislike, focusing on the dislike, not him or you or her and you. And that's the best way, because we're trying to live together mutually, and we're, like in harmony. We're trying to get harmony in our relationship. And what things that we don't like will create disharmony in the relationship. Make a pact that you'll be honest with each other, and then you'll each try and change it and get rid of it. And it's okay for the other person to alert you when you're doing it again. That's okay. You're not to take offense. because it takes a long time to change a habit. Sometimes it's just something simple. Maybe they tap their feet at the table when you're trying to eat. It's just a habit. They probably don't even know they're doing it. But if it gets to the point that you're grinding your teeth and thinking you can't stand it, you've got to say something. You've got to be honest. It's how real people are. It's how the real world is. If the dislikes are huge, they're going into very big areas like the person's lying to you, perhaps they cheat in many ways, perhaps they're abusive. There are dislikes in their nature and their behaviours which are big things. Then you might need to really tackle those head on and try and fix them. And if you can't, you need to get professional help. You really do, to get rid of them, because they are going to destroy your love relationship. Because you can still love people. You'll always love them. It's just like with your kids or your dogs. Even when they mess up, you still really love them. You might not like what they do, but you still really love them, and your partnership is the same. The reason I've done this podcast is because people don't talk about this. They don't talk about the dislikes and how the dislikes can get worse. I think it's not that the dislikes change, it's like our reaction towards the dislikes change. For example, if we're going through a difficult time in our relationship and it's kind of stressed and it's not working that well, you will find that things you don't like annoy you more and irritate you more, and you have less patience. And that's the thing you need to do, is also to be more patient. Be patient with people. It takes a while to change something that is inherent. It could be genetic or environmentally learned. So you can't expect them to do it one day and then never to do it again. People are going to take a while to change a habit. Sometimes it'll take 3 or 4 goes before you even start to see that the habit diminishes or even goes away. So be patient with each other. It's important to get rid of the dislikes by either accepting them and being okay with them, or asking the other person to change them and they change the things they do. We are creatures of habit, actually, and a lot of the things we do without really being conscious of doing them. So once our partner has made us aware, then I think it's important for the health and safety and harmony of our relationship, our love relationship, that we stop doing it. Because the less we dislike them, the greater the chance we have of surviving this relationship and saving it. The more we dislike what they do, the more and more we do that, the more difficult it is to retain a loving relationship, because the love kind of gets lost in the dislike, and we tend to then nag. And that, I've done a podcast on nagging and how you can nag your relationship to death. And I think that's the other thing you want to look at. Look at yourself as well. If they're irritating habits or ways you speak or things you're doing or behaviours, you need to go and ask your partner, what do I do that irritates you? It's important, it really is, because it's the little things that start going wrong in a relationship that end up being the big things that completely destroy it. And that way we lose the love. And for all these little tiny things, it's really not worth it, because most of them are not big. For the big ones, as I've said, get help. You might need to get some counselling around that, or find better ways to deal with that. For example, if the person lies all the time, they really need to stop lying. If the person is doing certain things, like cheating, not telling you stuff, withholding information, they need to stop doing that. There are things that are really quite big things. If they're being abusive, they need to go and get some help to sort out how to stop managing their anger in that way and their pain. So there are things that can be fixed, and they are the bigger things. If you have someone who's got addictions, that's something that you don't like. For example, it's not really the addiction, it's what the addiction is doing to them. For example, if they're drinking or taking drugs and then they are being violent or horrible when they're in that place, or if they are smoking themselves to death and you're really worried about their health because you have young children, you want them to live a long life and be healthy and well, then these are things that will start to irritate you if they're not taking care of themselves. And you have a right as a partner to bring that up and see if you can get some help with that, or that you change it. Do not let your dislikes become your relationship and spoil the love that you have, because there will be times that you love them but you don't like them very much, and that's how it is in life. However, if you can change the things you dislike in yourself and in your partner, get rid of them, or substitute with better behaviours, you'll find your relationship has a much better chance of surviving, and you'll live a happier life too, because you're not picking on each other and you're not getting all the time with each other because of things they're doing or saying or ways they're behaving. Good luck with this one. It can be done, because remember, most of these things are small things, and the things that are big things, we can get help for those. We really can. There can be help everywhere. Our society is a very good society now for seeking help and getting better outcomes. So this week, try not to pick on the things that aren't important, and try and get some help with the things that you don't like that are important. I'm sending you lots of love and lots of healing.